You're listening to Force Majeure, an actual play Star Wars podcast. My name is Adam and I'm your host, and today we have two sponsors at the start of the show to hear from. Oh yes. The first is a thank you and a shout out to Malcolm and Liz H, who have very generously donated to help keep the show afloat. If you're enjoying what we do have a Patreon at patreon.com/forcemajeurepod. We also have a Ko-fi account now. Ko-fi account now. Ko-fi, which is ko-fi/forcemajeurepod. If you like what we're doing and want to donate, we'd be very, very grateful. Now a word from our other sponsors.
Are you looking for a great story? Do you love Star Wars? Do you like podcasts?
If you said yes to any of these, check out the Redemption Podcast.
Well, I have less in my head than you do normally, probably.
You haven't met the crew I'm with. Pretty much everywhere we go, our life is in danger.
Things didn't explode. That's pretty sneaky for us.
That sounds horrible.
Yes, please finish up whatever underhanded thing you're doing on the computer terminals at the Jedi Temple.
Check out Redemption Podcast at www.redemptionpodcast.com.
A proud member of the RPG Academy Network.
My name's Ed Fortune, and I'll be your game master for this session of Shadows of the Jedi. And I have some lovely players, so let's start with asking them to introduce themselves and also a question, which is, what is your most precious early memory?
My name's Adam, and I'm playing Tychus Bar, a Basilisk Sentinel Artisan. My emotional strength is my bravery, and my emotional weakness is my recklessness. My fondest early memory was when I first got Roy. I was maybe 4, perhaps 5, a small 4-armed tearaway, an evil ape beast terrorising my parents, running around, getting my fingers into all of the technology and all the circuits, causing trouble and generally getting into scrapes. They recalled some of the work they previously did in an earlier life, shall we say, dug out some blueprints, and built for me a boy's best friend. And ever since then, Tychus and Roy have been absolutely inseparable. They're closer than brothers, closer than a person and their dog or their lothcat. Nothing in this world is more important than Roy, and nothing in this world is a finer memory than when they first met.
Hi, I'm Mikey. I'm playing Kay, a human warrior starfighter ace. Kay's emotional strength is his compassion, but his emotional weakness is his hatred. Kay's fondest memory. Kay is from a military family, so there was not a great deal of fun times when he was a kid. But as he's from a military family, his fondest memory is achievement in that area. His fondest memory of anything is getting into the Starfighter Academy. It's a little bit later on in his life, but the fact that his father was proud of him is something he takes away, even though it went bad for him later on, and I would say being a starfighter race for the Imperials was not something he's very proud of. Getting into the Academy is something he was.
Hi, I'm Ross. I'm playing Dr. Smex Koram Denaloa, a Syrian consular healer. My emotional strength is my compassion, but my weakness is my obstinateness. Dr. Koram's fondest earliest memory is of his third betrothal, when his fiancées met for the first time, and he realised, the family unit was going to be in the future.
Oh, that is so sweet. Hi, I'm Mim. I'm playing the B1 battle droid Roy. My specialisation is bodyguard, and my career is as a hired gun, and I have a obligation of 40 to the Bars family. Roy's best early memory is probably when he got his first headpiece, because Tychus had just started to come in with his colours and he was being all showy about it. So Roy thought it'd be really good if the two could fit in together. And as a side project, he'd taken some scrap metal, painted it up, and originally he just kind of drilled it into his head. But luckily Tychus came and sorted that out, took it out of his head and actually made it a detachable piece of headgear. But it made Roy feel like a real boy, as it were, a real entity, boy, girl. He tried a couple of different ones, but in the end, he liked the idea of being Bar Brothers. So yeah, that was a good memory. Lots of fun was had, and he still got the scars from where a couple of the drills went a little too deep, but no lasting damage. No.
Jedi philosopher Amon Ra posited that droids could never have a soul unless one was imported to them by some blasphemous use of technology and the Force. Reza's belief was that all beings were simply machines, and that the droids of his time were not complex enough to inhabit the Force. Reza thought that the soul was a mechanical problem, something that could be fixed through complex engineering, and that the designers and inventors at the time weren't clever enough to make droids with a soul. Did we mention how much engineers hated him? The last time we were playing, you'd parked up into a seemingly spacious cargo container, spent a couple of force points, got some jam and some stuff, and accidentally woken up a battle droid. I might have spent a dark side point. I definitely spent a dark side point. So, I'd like initiatives from everyone, please.
That's vigilance, is it?
That's vigilance.
3 success, 1 advantage.
2 success, 2 advantage.
I just got 2 advantage.
That's 4 successes.
Let me describe to you the droid. So it is about 7 foot tall. It is mostly black and pipes. It looks like the K2SO from Rogue One, except this one has been slightly off-market modded, shall we say. For a start, one of its arms is red for no explicable reason. However, that arm is also the arm of a protocol droid, and it looks slightly, there's welding and modifications to make that work, as it were.
Mm-hmm.
It appears to have had its knees slightly modified as well. There's spikes on it, and there's general spot welding everywhere. It's not seen the best of times.
So it's not an Imperial droid, is that
It
what
is an Imperial droid. It's
Right.
definitely an Imperial droid. It's just an
Well,
Imperial
mostly.
droid that's been... Well, mostly it's an Imperial droid. It looks like an Imperial droid,
It's
except
an
for the fact-
Imperial droid chassis, but it might not be an Imperial droid now.
You gotta get to know the
It-
inside person.
It's entirely possible that it's been stolen and modified.
Mm-hmm.
It's hot-rodded, shall we say. It's a hot-rodded Imperial droid.
Then it's highly likely it's been stolen and modified because they don't swing with that shit.
As Roy's looking at her, as all of these little details are being picked out, he sees the slightly dented chassis. It's like a giant... It's not a heart, because we don't really have hearts, but a giant central processing unit starts throbbing in the background as the violins come in with a da-da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da.
Roy needs to get out more.
And the first thing it says is, processing, processing, processing. Party, you have the drop on it, starting at 4 successes. Who would like to act first?
As she's going processing, Roy is going to swoop in, lift one of her arms up, put his other arm around her waist, dip her and go, "Hey, baby, is your magnetic coil working? Because I'm very attracted to you."
Processing!
So that's a manoeuvre and a what?
It's a manoeuvre,
A charm
and it would be a grapple. I've got ranks in Brawl, and I think...
I would like a grapple roll, please. I am willing to give you 1 blue die for the charm.
Okay, so I'm going to use my Brawl, because I think that would be covered by it. So I have 1 yellow and 2 green.
Maybe 2 purple.
Oh, 2 purple. Difficulty 2. That's 2 flat success.
You have it prone. As in, it literally, both its arms drop down, and it turns and goes, "Get off me!" It doesn't
So,
attack.
3 words that every droid wants to hear.
Who's next?
Again, party.
Well,
I was going to just duck for cover, but
Yeah.
I don't know where in the
Because-
sequence you want to do there.
last episode you said that its weapon systems were coming online.
Indeed.
What weapon systems does it have?
So, and it's slightly dipped now, but its shoulder-mounted something launcher is now pointing away from you. It was pointing towards you, and it's got an arm blaster built in onto its Imperial arm rather than its protocol droid arm.
But it's not immediately being hostile.
You have the drop on it, and it's slightly confused.
We found it in a crate, it doesn't know what it's seeing yet, and we've just distracted it impressively. But I'm still going
You've
I'm going to
swooped
duck
in,
and cover.
grabbed it, and rather than saying, "We have you now," said, "Hey, baby," and it's going, processing, because
Get
it's
off me.
literally just woken up.
So you're going to go next, Tychus.
Well,
That's a really good indication that she used her words and not her guns.
because I don't want to restraining bolt it if it's not aggressive, because Tychus doesn't like restraining bolts.
Well, what about the Doctor ducks for cover next, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, let's let the doctor duck for cover next then, yeah.
The Doctor ducks for cover.
Are you hiding behind the large crate of arms, or are you hiding behind some other unknown crate? There's what appears to be liquid somewhere that you can hide behind.
I was going to hide behind the uglier, but I didn't realise how far we travelled from the ship we just parked inside this thing.
Okay, you hide behind the ugly. You can easily within around dive behind into the vehicle.
That'll do.
You just suddenly see the doctor running off into the distance, and Roy's like, "It wasn't that bad."
It's not the distance. It's right there.
Yeah.
I'm diving behind the thing I know because there might be more of these things in there.
It acts. The tube on its shoulder moves, pivots, points straight at Bar, and makes a pop sound as a net flies out of its shoulder and ensnares you. It's a hard reflex check to get out. Please cease and desist. Also, I require instruction.
Okay, I step up to the droid and stand there looking directly at it, not defending myself, anything like that, just stand to attention and say, Lieutenant Dalen K. Rain, report.
Can I have what is better of your cohesion or your charm, please?
They're both terrible. What sort of difficulty?
It's only one purple.
Or leadership?
Leadership will do it as well.
They're all terrible. Kay does not have a great presence, as you might have guessed from being a grumpy man.
I will allow warfare at difficulty 2.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I have rolled on my coercion, and I've got one success. And that's it.
Its launcher droops down.
Mm-hmm.
It gives Roy a look, looks back to you. Get off me!
Oh.
And it attempts to stand. It's still technically grappled, but it's kind of taking you with it. So it's a bit of an awkward grapple. And it stands to attention. Status pending.
At ease, soldier.
And it relaxes. It drips down.
Roy tries to hold its hand.
You hold its hand effortlessly. Which one, by the way?
I will stand to the left of it.
So it's actual hand rather than the one that's been bolted onto it.
No, I'll go for the bolted on hand. It's okay.
Kay sighs and says, well, that was a risk. It's quite obviously not being in the Imperial net for a long time. I'm going to sit down.
Doc, you can come out now. It's okay. Come meet my new girlfriend.
Tychus, are you okay?
I just... And Tychus
Out of round
throws the net down. Well, you say it's been out of the Imperial net for some time. Well, look at it. That's no Imperial droid. Look at those mods. Those aren't legitimized mods.
Yeah.
Droid, what's your designation?
Designation K2T2 assigned to Tatooine.
Last assigning officer.
Officer Lylan Cass.
Mission parameters.
Protection duty. Escort mode only. Non-lethal ordnance shall be deployed.
Excellent. Good work.
It starts rocking slightly. Danger! Ambush! Danger! Ambush!
I think you might need to go run a diagnostic.
Running. Its head very surely looks at its arm. It moves its arm almost as if its arm is a glove puppet, and it's staring at the red arm and looking very confused. Error!
Now that Tychus is out of the net, I'm going to assemble my slicing rig.
K2, recognise mechanic. I point towards Tychus. We're going to do an external diagnostic on you.
I drop to your knees, open your comport.
It drops to its knees and it opens its comport.
I'm not sure I'm happy with you talking to her like that.
Also, when the droid dropped to its knees, what happened to Roy?
It let go of the hand.
Oh.
Roy,
Right.
she's confused. We need to help her.
Understood. They're there.
Okay.
It's always polite to ask someone's pronouns before you begin a conversation.
I plug my slicing rig into the back of K2's head, and I start running a diagnostical check.
Well, given the fact that it's been brought up, it's actually been set to gender-neutral programming. So it's neither masculine nor feminine, because droids have a default mode. Right. They haven't cleaned it. They've been really sloppy here. So rather than cleaning its memories, they've just pulled out its memory nodes, which is sloppy. I mean, it works, but you would do that if you couldn't. But either if you were terminally lazy or you really didn't care.
So is there any markers in its memory as to who's reprogrammed it, who's changed the parameters, when it was reassigned?
Yes, so it has been reassigned to protection duty of the Reza's Heel, and it's connected to the Reza's Heel network.
Oh, this droid's still connected to the security network of the Heel.
Could you check which areas of the network have the highest security clearance needed? Because that might be where our safe is.
And also whether or not I can pull those security clearance codes out. Right on that now.
Yeah.
And
slicing roll,
that's
please.
fine.
I'm going to add a question to that one. And also, are there any more of these units in this box or elsewhere?
Or elsewhere, aye. Difficulty on the slicing check?
2.
What I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to spend a light side point to upgrade my check.
Okay, there is a slight problem that you are a distant away from the rest of the network.
Not that much of a problem, because that's a triumph.
Hooray!
2 successes, a triumph, and a threat. Sorry, that's actually 3 successes, a triumph, and a threat.
Okay, so first thing you realise is the reason it's here is because it keeps trying to reassert its Imperial programming. Because of the way they've done it, it will keep trying to reassert its Imperial programming, so they've pretty much deactivated it and put it in a crate. That's like the reason why it's there rather than on board. There are other droids on the ship. They are definitely active. They are there to secure and protect. They are all slaved to one master program. You look at the serial numbers of the type of droids, most of them are starting with a Z. So they're a Z, then a number. Some of them are AZ, some of them are BZ, but they're all Zs. They are all over the place. They are there to protect the cargo, not the crew. Do you want to spend your triumph, or do you want me to give you a suggestion?
Right. My thinkings are either, I don't really care about the cargo manifest, so I think the triumph would be either, what do you reckon, team? Either knowing exactly whereabouts on the ship the main cargo hold is, I suppose enough of the cargo manifest to know where we need to go, or do we want to pull out security clearance codes so we can use it to deactivate any droids we come across or get through the doors? Basically pull out those codes. What do we think?
I don't think we need to know where the cargo bay is because it'll be kind of obvious on this ship. However, it might be worth us knowing what the cargo is so we can find out if the thing we're looking for is in a separate hold.
Okay. So, yeah, we'll go with that then.
Okay, I was going to say if you went for the other option, that would work once. So it would do like a general shutdown once, and then it would reboot. So it's a better choice. Okay, so going through, you scroll through the manifest. It is badly put together, and you're looking for specifics.
Got a triumph, though.
You've got a triumph. I'm going through the list. What you definitely have is you know where the crates of exotic spices are. You know where the crates of spice are. They were on the side, the cargo containers that collapsed, that fell off. Mm-hmm. They were described as glass dust. The stuff that exploded, the crates that exploded?
Yep.
That's glass dust, apparently, according to the cargo hold. There's guns somewhere. There's speeder parts somewhere. There is exotic exercise equipment and an extremely expensive statue that are kept in the captain's quarters. That's almost certainly what you're after. That's at the front.
Does this come with schematics so we know whereabouts in the ship so we can work out from outside the quickest route to it?
Yes. Looking at you've got a triumph, you're able to pull up a very rough schematic, because the problem with this is they keep changing one of the wonderful things about Crocs is you can reconfigure it all the time.
Yep.
So you can put in lots more cargo or lots more crew depending on what you want to do. Unfortunately, this means that it's a very rough schematic.
Yeah, that's
because
fine.
They haven't updated it properly. Along the way, for some reason, they are life container crates as well. As in crates with something living and frozen inside.
Yeah. Carbonite or some form of suspension?
Some form of suspension. You suspect something small.
Okay.
Like big crates with lots of small things inside.
Okay. Right. So I've got the cargo manifest and some schematics. Know roughly where we're going. This poor droid, though, whoever has done whatever they've done to it, is such a hack job. Criffin amateurs. So they've stripped out some of their Imperial programming, but only some. Botched on this quite amateurish enforcement logistics protocol on top of it. I think badly downloaded from the HoloNet from some of those rubbishy tin pot enforcement droids you see scattered around Tatooine. And the poor devils here, because the two sets of programming are constantly in conflict. I reckon given maybe 5-10 more minutes, I didn't think I'll be able to put a whole new program in, but I can reconcile one or the other, stop the conflict, and then hopefully K2 can come with us until I can get them back to my shop and do a proper job on them. So how do we want to play this?
I don't mind at all. I do not feel safe with this droid around if it is currently still trying to upgrade and pull itself back to the Imperial side.
Right, well...
You've mentioned a restraining bolt. Would that be better for our own safety?
I suppose, but the restraining bolts, they're a bit, I'm not a fan. Droids, they're manufactured, but it doesn't mean they're not people. And shutting down part of this poor droid's programming that's causing it problems is one thing. Outright stripping it of its free will, it doesn't really sit well with me, and I know it ain't going to sit well with Roy. Restraining bolts are the last resort of cowards. I mean, okay, I could see using one to stop an immediate threat until you've had a chance to talk to a droid and work out what's going on, but I can do a much more elegant job to make K2 happier and more functional without having to resort to anything so crude.
Okay, there are more elegant methods, but I don't know the specifics of exactly what a restraining bolt restrains, but I'm talking at least as far as make sure it doesn't fire nets or other weapons at the things.
I suppose if nothing else, if I can't do a full job on K2 now, and assuming Roy don't mind, I can always shut them down, put them in the back of the Ugly, and then when we get back to the shop, I can make sure they're all right.
K2, what do you want to do?
Okay, so its eyes flick open.
Yes.
They go green, and it goes, "My duty."
Roy, thoughts?
There's a complicated spectrum of emotions here.
I am here to serve and defend.
Roy, I'm in your hands. How do you want me to play this?
Not too subtly, he puts one of his red arms up to his face and fake whispers,
Are they completely boozled in the head?
Aye, they're not happy. They're a wee bit fragged.
If you're going to reprogram me, please buy me dinner first.
Yeah, there's some personality there.
I think we gotta help them.
Aye, but help them now or help them back at the shop.
K2, new orders setting up, please. Defend this ship. I point towards the Ugly.
I type a way to reinforce that to loop that parameter in a way that won't cause conflict.
I won't require a roll because you've already got it massively subdued. And interestingly, it doesn't say affirmative. It says, "Thank you."
I think, Roy, if we leave them here to look after the Ugly, get them back to the shop afterwards, and I can make sure they're all right. I can do a proper job.
I'd like to go settle them in the ship, make sure they're comfortable.
Aye, of course.
Take your time.
Take your time, as long as you need, Roy. As long as you need.
So Roy's attitude has changed slightly. You can see, instead of being all suave and cool, he's actually leading K2 gently by the hand and trying to point out, "Oh, this is our ship. We had a bit of a dink there. You see, that's where our driver...
He's an alcoholic, went into a side of a wall. He's a really great guy."
And then
Kay's drinking from a hip flask, as you point.
sets K2 down and leaves them with a cheery wave as he walks back to the rest of the team.
I think maybe we should refer to me as K1 from now on. just so.
K2's full designation is K2T2. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you'll have to figure out what it wants to call itself.
They can figure out what they want to call themselves once we've helped them with their crises.
So,
I give them the net back so they can reload the shoulder boofer.
And while K2's being settled in, I go and grab half a dozen of the red arms, because I know Roy said that he wanted to take some, and we might have to leave quickly, so do it now.
Oh, and put them in the...
Put it in the Ugly, yeah.
Cool. You put some stuff in there.
The Doctor now comes out of cover.
You're a Silurian. You weren't in that much cover anyway. Yeah, your eyes were underneath the Ugly, but we could see your head.
I know where the top of my head is.
So do we.
You have climbing kit.
Yeah.
It is ropes. It is grapnel launchers.
Cool.
It is a secure harness, and they are two repulsor packs. Not jetpacks, repulsor packs. Which means you can hover rather than fly.
My favourite.
How does one use that? What skill do you need to have to use it? Because I don't want to put one on if I'm just going to fly straight into a wall.
I want to put one on the dock and make him glow. We've got a firefly.
I don't glow all the time.
No, but you do glow sometimes. Maybe. Then again, we've never seen you at night properly.
You mostly glow under great stress, and I think if we attach one of these to you, you'd be fine with that glowing.
Also, I think it was my head, not my... I don't have a tail.
Well, we can put it on you upside down. Go ahead.
I'm feeling less safe around. I go back to cover.
Sorry, yes.
That'll help with your stress.
What skill?
So it's athletics.
Could I take one of these? Yeah.
I know what it is.
I strap in.
I'm reasonably strong. I can climb up of my own, once we've got the grapple launchers up. Actually, Roy's the best shot of all of us, I think. So, Roy, you want to take one of these grapple launchers to get the initial line up there, and then we can just, me and you can, well, you got your magnetic feet, so you're fine. You can just walk up.
I mean, you said climbing gear, but really what this is it's the sort of kit that they use when they're reconfiguring the ship.
Yeah.
So
that's even better then.
There's a couple of drills, essentially, as well, for bolting things on.
They're going into my voluminous kit pouches.
Roy looks at the drills and goes, the memory. And then twitches slightly. Strokes his head back.
Okay, how far are we away from the big ship?
You are not very far at all.
Okay.
So it's a very short walk. Are you all getting out of the crate?
Yeah, I think we parked about half a mile away, I think it was.
Yeah, not far.
So, yeah, not
Yeah, well, once we're all sorted, we'll all get out of the crate, yeah.
As you get out of the crate, you can see in a bit of distance, also on the other, heading towards the other side from where you are, the distinctive vehicles of the makers. And they look like they're just going to try and fly on and park. But you've got to remember, this is a huge ship.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So they're a good distance away from you. It would be a detour for you to go and say hello.
Well, the thing is, as well, is from talking with Sekiti from the Thermal Wolves, it's clear we're all after different stuff. So if we do bump into the makers, because we've got no issue with them, it might well be that what they're after is on the manifest that I've got, and we can trade it with them.
Well, they want the spice, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Wolves definitely said they want the spice.
Okay, so captain's quarters, it hit the ground at some impact. Is the captain's quarters in the ground?
The captain's quarters is at the front, which is in the ground,
right?
So pointing upwards. It's not so much it's in the ground, but the ground itself has caved in.
Yeah.
So you're at the bit which is kind of unveiled the spire. What's essentially done is it's hit, caused a kind of a wreck quake,
yes,
a ruin quake, as stuff has now shifted round, and now the very top bit of the front of the ship is now pointing at what's essentially a ruin.
So our closest entry point to the captain's quarters will probably be at the point of impact then. So rather than climbing up, we'll be where it touches the ground, and we'll go down from there rather than. Is that right?
Yes. So if you walk along the wreck further along, you can try and get into the captain's quarters.
Yeah.
But there's no obvious point of entrance. Like you have to go a little bit back just to get in, if you see what I mean.
Okay.
So you find yourselves, you spend about 5-10 minutes essentially trying to look and get a good idea. Can I have a group perception roll, please? A bonus if you're using the magnoculars.
I've got 1 skill point in perception and a cunning of 3. Is anybody?
I've got 1 skill rank in perception and a cunning of 1. So
my perception is I have 2 skill ranks.
Okay.
I have no ranks and 2.
Okay, so
what we'll get then is 1 green, 2 yellow, 2 blue, 1 each from me and Ross, and 1 or 2 blue for the magnoculars.
1 blue for the magnoculars and 1 black for the circumstances, and the difficulty is 2.
Okay, who's going to roll this
I'll
then?
do it.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
Oh, after all that is just 3 successes, no advantage or anything like that.
It takes a little bit of wandering backwards and forwards, muttering, and then Roy notices something in the magnoculars, and there is essentially where one of the cargo pods jettisoned.
Yeah.
There is entrance to the vehicle.
Okay. Do we have to climb up to it? Is it a...
You'll have to climb up to it.
Okay.
It's more of a climb to get up to the further along you go towards the nose, the more of a climb it is.
Well,
right.
I pass Roy the grapnel. See if you can get this through that door and wedged in at the top there, Roy.
Through the door. Through the door. Okay.
If you've got repulsors, wouldn't someone be quicker if they just flew up there and fired it from there? Or latched it on from there?
Well, you can only get up and down on the repulsors, so it'd be probably better to have a guideline so we can pull ourselves across.
Okay, sorry, I don't have a mental picture of repulsors.
And Roy can just walk up the side of the
that's also good.
The side of the thing, but I think if Roy fires the grapnel launcher from in the room, it's probably not going to be as good as a lock, if you know what I mean, because it's so much more force in a shorter place. It might go through the roof rather than latch.
Bounce all the way around the room and go straight through Roy.
Aye.
Okay.
And the repulsor pack is exceptionally good for making sure that you don't fall to your death. It's not very good at getting you into a situation where you will fall to your death.
Okay.
It's a feather fall spell.
Am I rolling for anything?
Yes, please. Can I have a difficulty 1 target roll, because you're trying to hit the side of a barn door, literally.
So range light or range heavy?
So range light.
Mm-hmm.
And a boost die for aiming, because you might as well.
Yeah, you can get a boost die for aiming.
I will aim, definitely aim. So that's 1 difficulty. So that's 2 flat success.
A couple of things you have learnt. Firstly, these make a fun popping sound when they fire. Secondly, it's clearly one use. It didn't look like it was one use. We were like, how do you reload this thing? You don't.
Oh.
The actual trigger mechanism itself looks like it can also be turned into a hook. Essentially, it's designed to hook.
Oh, cool.
Or like a carabiner on your belt to wheel you in.
Yeah. Well done, Roy.
So it hit?
It hit. It's gone and connected across.
Okay.
But because the entire thing essentially explodes, it's one hit.
All right, well, okay. So, Roy, if you want to start walking up the side with your mag boots, if you two want to...
I'll go first.
Yeah. Doc, Kay, if you want to repulse it up and use it, and then I'll just hook this on my belt and winch myself up once everyone else is in. That means also I've got eyes out back just in case no one tries to bushwhack us.
I'm going to make you all make athletics rolls. I'm going to give you 2 blue, however, and it's only 1 difficulty. If you're wearing a repulsor pack, if you mess up the roll, you can roll it again.
Okay, so Kay is quite agile in the way of the Force as well as the way of everything else, so I've rolled a Force dice as well. However, I did get a dark side point on that, which I'm not going to use, because I have 1 success and 3 advantages.
Okay.
So I'm not using my repulsor, I'm spider monkeying up the rope and going to use the repulsor if I'm about to fall.
I've got 4 straight successes.
I've got 2 successes and 3 advantage.
Single success.
Okay, so for those of you who have advantage, how would you like to spend the advantage, or do you want suggestions?
So we're getting up to a way in.
Yeah.
Can the doors into the ship not be closed or anything like that? Can we go straight through into the ship?
As you climb, it becomes you can cheerfully, obviously, see the 2 big cargo levers.
Yeah.
That because you've got such good purchase, you can just open it. You normally need a tool, but you're well purchased. So
can I also suggest another advantage for us that nobody has seen us get into the ship?
Yeah, I'm happy to let you do it fairly silently without because you've not been yelling at each other like you normally would. And the only thing that's happened
really noisy
is there's been a small explosion, and that's it.
I know they hear clang, clang, clang as I'm walking up the side of it.
Do you want to spend your advantage in any
silent clang, clang, clang?
What are the silent clang? What are the chances that we're going to end up backing out the same way we came in?
You can easily make this permanent or semi-permanent thing if you want. Find a good place to get.
Well,
because that leaves a clue as to where we are.
Just pull up the rope and then we can dangle it down again if we need to.
Yeah.
I was going to possibly ask one of the advantages being that I've made some indentations which will make it easier for someone, if need be, to climb back down from where I'm quite heavy-footed.
Yeah, that might be good, because just thinking ahead, if the giant golden Hutt statue is super heavy, we might need to put the repulsors on that so we just kick it out of the ship. So it will float down without damaging, which means we're then going to have to traverse down from the ship a lot more manually. So, yeah. I think that's a good idea to give us those boost die to get back
down. So as I've been climbing up, I've been kind of punching some of my hands in to give some indentations or some small holes.
Can I suggest that what you've been able to do is set it up in such a way that you can essentially abseil down fairly easily? So unless you're looking for it, unless you go to the side of the ship and go, hey, there's a rope down here, at which point they're looking for you anyway.
Okay, let's go for that.
So it's easy to get in and out, and you've also made handholds so people can abseil in and out.
Okay.
Cool. As you all get into the ship, you see a spacious cargo hold. It is dark here. Is anyone turning on a light?
Not yet.
So, given that it's dark, Kay is going to close his eyes and expand out his consciousness using the Force.
So you'll reach your mind out into the Force. I'll need a roll for that, please.
Okay. So that's 2 dark side points. So Kay is very quickly going to realise there's not something right here and not use those dark side points.
I actually need a discipline roll as well, please. Difficulty 2.
Okay. So that's 1 advantage, no successes.
So, good news is that you don't call out, but everyone else sees, as your mind, as your soul reaches out into the Force, there is something very dark kind of reaching out to you. Everyone else in the party sees your arm just bolt upright, and you point, and they follow your arm, and you can see, swinging from the cable, a corpse, and on its face, the look of perfect terror. And I think we'll leave it there for now.
Force Majeure is played using the Star Wars Force and Destiny game system by Fantasy Flight Games and Lucas Books. Our intro music for the rest of this season is Superpower Cool Dude by Kevin MacLeod, and our outro music remains Suburban Outlaw by Forget the Whale, both used with gratitude under the Creative Commons license. A number of our ambient sounds and sound effects are provided by Sirenscape, because epic games deserve epic sounds. For episode-specific credits for music, please see the show notes, and also the credits page of our website at forcemajeurepod.com. If you like the show and want to support us, there's a few ways you could do that. The first is by rating and reviewing wherever you find us, be it iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher, Podbean, wherever. That helps other people find us and lets us know that we're telling the sort of stories that you enjoy hearing. We do have a Patreon page at patreon.com/forcemajeurepod, and also a Ko-fi account at ko-fi.com/forcemajeurepod if you've got some change burning a hole in your pocket and want to throw it our way. We appreciate all the support. We do have social media presences. The easiest way to find us is on Twitter at ForceMajeurePod. We do also have a Facebook page and an Instagram page and a Discord server. Links to all of these are contained in the show notes. Come along and talk nonsense with us. We always like to hear from fans of the show. And until next time, may the Force be with you.